To my LGBTQ plus friends, here are 2 private property classes to help you kickstart your property journey and maybe make a nice pot of gold. I quote a saying from financial advisor Susie Orman. Owning a home is a keystone of wealth, both financial affluence and emotional security. Remember, the earlier you own a property, the better, because most people who got rich do it through property. Everybody wants to have their own home, and because of the scarce land we have in Singapore, prices have been shooting up, especially in the past 2 years. The property market in Singapore is heavily dependent on demand and supply, and the role of government policies that help to regulate the price movements. The barrier to entry to purchase a home is also increasing, with higher buyer stamp duty and things like additional buyer stamp duty that discourages people from owning more than one property in Singapore. And for us, the LGBTQ plus folks, the 35-year-old age restriction, lower grants and lesser options are additional challenges we have to overcome. In my work with the community, I have to constantly keep up with the changes in policies and think of our unique situation and look at opportunities to allow us to keep up with the home ownership journey. Today, I'm going to share with you 2 property classes that may present opportunities for some of us in the LGBTQ plus circle. Unknown to many, executive condo is a hybrid property type that is priced about 20 to 30% lower than private condominiums. The attractive pricing caters to a middle income group who can afford something more than a traditional HDB but not ready for a full private condominium. So here's the thing, for LGBTQ plus Singaporean couples, do you know that you're eligible to apply for a new EC through the Joint Singles scheme? But note that this applies only to joint singles and no grant will be awarded under this scheme. And both of you still need to be 35-year-old and above with a combined income cap of $16,000. In my opinion, this is a great option as you are not confined to a tiny 2-room flexi flat under BTO in the joint single scheme. Buying into a new EC is a great opportunity for couples who aspire to live in a private condominium, as an EC will be fully privatized 10 years after it's at TOP. EC that has completed its first 5-year MOP are also known to generate the first owner a handsome 6-figure profit when resold in the market again. And on the subject of resale ECs, in particular for EC that has passed its 5 years, singles below 35 and single PRs are also eligible to purchase them in the open market. So here presents a great opportunity for us LGBTQ plus folks and PRs to own a property before 35 years old. Very often, for LGBTQ plus who can afford to, I will highly recommend for them to try for a new launch condominium. There are a number of benefits that comes along with starting the first home with a new launch. Firstly, because you're a first-time homeowner, getting a brand new unit will be easier and you'll feel much better. You have much less to worry about when it comes to renovation, and you don't have to inherit someone's ugly decor or spend extra money to repair damages due to existing wear and tear. When buying a resale property, it's usually sold in as-is condition, i.e. the sellers are not obliged to fix any existing issues or repair a broken air conditioning, for example, prior to handing it over to you. And speaking of repairing damages, the other benefits of buying a brand new unit from a developer is the 1-year defects warranty that most developers will give to the buyers. So after key collection and moving in, the buyers can report problems such as water leakage, flooring or window issues to developers to do the rectification work within the first year. Most of the electrical appliances will also come with the manufacturer warranty as well. Next, a very important reason for buying a new project is that you are buying as the first owner at the launch price from the developer. And if you have not already heard of this, many property buyers who buy at launch will usually see an immediate capital growth from 10 to 25% upon completion or TOP, in which they will sell it off to take the profit. Bearing in mind again that this is probably your first property purchase and you will likely want to upgrade further down the road as your lifestyle and finances improves. So making sure that your first property is profitable is extremely important, as a profit will allow you to pay for the subsequent property payment. Next, another attractive benefit unique to new launches is a progressive payment scheme that developers and bank offers to buyer. Essentially, after the buyer pays off the initial 5% booking fee, the 20% down payment and property taxes, they can take up to 75% bank loan and pay that progressively over a schedule based on the different stages of completion of the property. The ability to leverage on bank loan means that buyer will only be paying a small amount of mortgage during the first 3 years as property is being built. And this is very important now during this high interest rate environment currently. The progressive payment scheme allows buyer to reduce the impact of the high interest rate now. They can lock in the price of the property at today's price and pay the main chunk of their mortgage later when the interest rate comes down. As a matter of fact, 2023 is going to be a good year to look at new launches as the supply is up with more than 40 new launches slated to launch throughout the year. And if you understand economics well, a high supply will mean that prices are going to be more competitive to your advantage. I will be doing more videos on this topic, but if you're keen to know more, reach out to me in my bios. And finally, I have one more point to talk about regarding buy a new launch for your first property. If you don't plan to get one now, it will be very hard to buy a new launch further down the road as a single LGBTQ plus person. And why so, you may ask? Because to buy a new project is kind of like buying a BTO from HDB. You will need to wait for construction for up to 3 to 4 years depending on the size of the project. So when you buy a new launch, you will need to have an existing place to live. And very often, you could be living currently with your parents or renting a place. However, if you already own an existing property as a single, you will need to sell off that first property before buying a new launch. This is to avoid the hefty 17% additional buyer stamp duty on the second property. And when you do that, you will then need to rent a temporary home to live while waiting for the construction or move back to your family. But this is usually not an ideal situation for most people after they own a property. In the market, we see a lot of straight couples getting tax remission because they are buying a matrimonial home, or decoupling their property so that the husband could buy a property for own stay and the wife will buy and sell new launches to make profits. However, this is not possible for singles and LGBTQ plus person. And that is why kickstarting your first property with a new project is important if you want to reap its benefits. So in summary, it's important to know your choices and have a strategy to map up your property journey, because far too many times I've seen people who made the wrong decision in their property purchase, especially when they come to their first home. Remember again, the right start will give you the head start and roll over to your subsequent home purchases. If you find this video useful, please like, share and follow my channel. And if you need a private discussion to go through your options, schedule a call with me in my bios. My name is William for William Tan Real Estate and the House of Pride, celebrating diversity and inclusion in home ownership for everyone.